स्टार्ट
है ना?
हाँ तो खत्म हो सर, करते हैं स्टार्ट.
राइट शुरू कर लो. चलिए.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So let's start. Don't settle for average. Bring your best to the moment. Then whether it fails or succeeds, at least you know all you gave you had. A very good afternoon to all of you present here today. I, Priyanshisha, welcome you all to the 7th International Youth Symposium organized to bring together professionals related to the field of finance across the globe for a deliberation on various issues that impact at a global finance on the theme Achieving Sustainable Development Goals through Policy and Business Interventions, organized by Department of Public Policy and Governance, BK School of Professional and Management Studies, Gujarat University. The International Youth Symposium is the annual gathering of advisors, mediators, staff, and core audiences of Science Gallery. The symposium provides an opportunity to the youth, academicians, and industry experts from across the globe to collaborate in reinventing business practices to grow and succeed in the pandemic times. The past symposium had witnessed outstanding success in bringing together diverse intellectuals and harnessing their symbiotic deliberations, paving way for one and all to adopt sustainable development practices. We intend to repeat history with an even stronger impact through Symposium 2022 for greater good in the present times. Now, I would like to introduce BK School to you all. The Gujarat University was conceived in the 1920s in the minds of public-spirited and learned men like Gandhiji, Sardar Patel, Acharya Anand Shankara Dhruva, Dada Saheb Malvankar, Kasturbai Lalbai, and many others. The university could come into existence only after the achievement of independence in 1949 and was incorporated under the Gujarat University Act. BK School of Professional and Management Studies is a department of management of prestigious Gujarat University established in 1976, is one of the oldest and eminent B School of Gujarat State. BK School of Professional and Management Studies, our institute is ranked 21st as Pre-Outlook ICAR India MBA Rankings 2020 Top Public MBA Institution. The school has been vetting human as well as intellectual skill of new breed of dynamic managers ever since. BK has acquired a unique position in the list of top B schools with its attributes like excellent curriculum, experienced faculties, industrial exposure, strong alumni network, academic industrial interface. The school has divided its activities under different departments, which includes Department of Maritime Management, Department of Professional Studies, Department of Business Intelligence, and Department of Public Policy and Governance. BK School runs PhD, MBA Phil, MBA programs, PG diploma programs, certificate level programs, MBA executive level programs. Now, let me introduce you to DPPG, Department of Public Policy and Governance, established in the year 2020 under the umbrella of BK School of Professional and Management Studies, Gujarat University, was an intention to become primer management institution of eminence, fostering value-based quality management education, quality research, executive education, strong corporate as well as international linkages, and nurturing socially responsible leaders for a changing global world. The the DPPG is the brainchild of visionary head of DPPG with a goal to develop learner-centric environment for nurturing finest management thinkers and contributors of community development in the pursuit of developing policymakers, practitioners, leaders, and educators by interacting concepts with application and values. The Department of Public Policy and Governance offer courses like PhD, 4 MBA programs, 6 integrated MBA level programs, 10 short-term certificate level courses, and 12 one-year PG diploma courses in the field of public policy and management, defense management, event management, business economics and public finance, finance and financial analytic, HR and public administration, business economics and general management, and other related areas of business management. Since its establishment in 2020, DPPG organized more than 70 events for different stakeholders of the society, which includes SPDs, EDPs, and research improvement, skill development campus to corporate, national and international conclaves, conference, and other programs. The department provides an innovative learning environment that inspires the students to think creatively, anticipate and adapt changes, develop strategies and competencies for survival, growth in the competition and technology-driven global economy, and to create an institution which which will serve the humanity, the society, the state, and the nation for economic growth and for prosperity. I am pleased to welcome our jury members for the paper presentation, Dr. Mamta Brahmbhatt ma'am and Dr. Vilas Kulkarni sir. First, I would like to introduce Dr. Mamta Brahmbhatt ma'am. Dr. Mamta Brahmbhatt is having more than 20 years of academic experience at present. She is serving as an associate professor and head of Department of Business Intelligence at BK School of Professional and Management Studies, Gujarat University. She is also an academic coordinator of Institute of Defense and Research Studies. Dr. Mamta ma'am has published papers in several major international and national referred journals. Her publication includes 130 plus published research papers and 30 books. She has delivered more than 250 expert sessions on research methods and SPSS and was
विलास सर कुछ बोल रही है, मुझे सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है. नहीं ना?
I think she has lost connection. ऐसा लग रहा.
अच्छा, okay.
Priyanshi.
No problem.
नीलम मैडम कैसे हैं? Till she comes.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Now you are audible. Yes.
Sorry, sir, that was a loss of
No issue.
connection.
No issue. Please go ahead.
Thank you. She has delivered more than 250 expert sessions on research methods and SPSS and was engaged in various academic endeavors in more than 30 different universities. She has developed 3 MOOCs under Swayam platform of MHRD. She is both member of management faculty at Gujarat University and at National Forensic Science University, Gandhinagar. She has been visiting faculty at Pandit Deendayal Petroleum University, PDPU, and National Institute of Fashion Technology.
Priyanshi, I think it is more than it.
Yeah, be short. Be short.
Ma'am, I would like to request you to grace us with your kind words.
Yes, Priyanshi, tell me, you told something?
Yes, ma'am. Please grace us with your kind words.
Yes, every year Neelam madam is doing this event, and the thing which we and Vilas sir has witnessed that every year she is coming with the new ideas, and every time I am writing the message in the morning that the great success, grand success to you. But हमें पहले से ही पता होता है कि program anyhow it is going to be a grand success because madam and your student coordination, it is wonderful. So let us also hope for the same and start the function, today's function.
Correct. And every year, madam, the scale increases.
That's scale increases.
So that way our coordination skills have to be appreciated. Yes.
Otherwise, sir, in this online, when you are making online link and you have to circulate that link to many people, that task itself is so tedious and time consuming. But madam has that energy that she is doing every year.
And so many emails and so many links. Yes.
And half of the time, people like me, they are not getting that which link has to be joined and from where to start. So people, they also send the WhatsApp message, I assume.
Right.
Okay, beta. Priyanshi, you can start.
Priyanshi, 2-3 lines bolna and then we will start. No problem.
Okay, sir. Now, I would like to introduce you all to our next jury member, Dr. Vilas Kulkarni, sir. Vilas Kulkarni, sir, acquired his Master of Human Resource Development from Veer Narmada South Gujarat University in 1999 and earned his PhD in Management from Sardar Patel University in the year 2007. Sir has served as an academic associate in IIM Ahmedabad. He has also worked as a placement officer and faculty member in postgraduate Department of Business Management, Sardar Patel University. He also teaches in fellow program at Academy of HRD Ahmedabad. Sir, can you please say
Yeah.
something for our program? Some
No,
kind
already
words
I
from
have
your side.
joined hands with Mamta madam, na, in that case. So when I see actually the titles of the paper, I'm very happy that people from diverse background and on diverse subjects they have applied and they have written papers. So we as academicians, we also get some information that what's going around and what are the other non-traditional areas of research. So with this, I really congratulate and thank Neelam madam for her great coordination and event management skills. Right. Priyanshu, please.
Thank you, sir. Before we begin with the paper presentation, I would like to inform all the participants about the general rule. Each participant will get 10 minutes for presenting their paper, and after they will get 2 minutes for question and answer session, if any, as the evaluation for the participants will be based on presentation and communication skills, relevance of the main topic, coverage of the topic, body language, and confidence, and contribution to the main theme at implementation. Let us begin with the paper presentation. I would like to welcome our first participant, Mr. Shivakumar and Dr. Kalam, for the presentation of the title, A Study of Bhagavad-Gita's Approach to Stress Management. Mr. Shivakumar and Dr. Kamal.
Call the next presenter. We'll give them the chance later on if they are joining.
Okay, ma'am. So our next presenter are Mr. Suraj, Dr. Morvi, Ms. Priyal for the presentation on the title and empirical evidence to measure customer preference towards medicated lollipop in Gujarat state, a proposed model for new product development.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Priyal, you may proceed.
Yeah, just a minute. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. So good afternoon to all the participants and respected panel chair. I, Priyal Shah, with my co-authors Dr. Suraj Shah and Dr. Mauri Vasavda, I'm here to present on a topic named an empirical evidence to measure customer preference towards medicated lollipop in Gujarat state, which is a new product development model. Coming with the introduction part, before briefing you all about what the product is, let me tell you that from which industry my product has been came. So that is nutraceutical industry. We all know that nutraceutical is the combination of nutrition and pharmaceutical, which includes in it also which incorporates many such amino acids, minerals, and dietary supplements into the body. So basically, dietary supplements are concentrated in the form of liquid or capsule, which we intake, like to get proper nutrients derived from the food or the food products. So coming towards the product, that is Medicated Lollipop, I would like to say that Medicated Lollipop is a flavored brand-based candy, including the formulation of the drugs, that is, which dissolves in it in the mouth very easily to the kids. The manufacturing process of Medicated Lollipop includes in it, that is, weighing, mixing, cooking, molding, cooling, and packing. Here, I have taken an example where we have to place a lactose, that is some weighing it and then mixing it on the hot surface. Then after providing proper heat to it, let mix properly rapidly. After adding some active components, then we can pour it into the mold, that is called molding. And after the mixture gets cooled out, it would be go through the process of packing and then directly to the customers or the. So I have reviewed total 59 literatures, and out of that 39 literature reviews had been conducted, very useful. And on that construct, it has been found that product image, quality, customer preference, customer satisfaction, price, awareness, shelf life, demographics, ease of use, and taste and acceptability are the factors that leads to the customer preference. Gap or research gap. So here many researchers has been conducted abroad, also research the Medicated Lollipop, but there is a research gap to measure the customer preference in the Gujarat state. Also, I would like to say that I have taken the online on telephonic communication, as due to this pandemic we all know. But after that, many such survey has been done, and through telephonic conversation also the participants firstly were briefed what Medicated Lollipop is. And in Rajkot, Ahmedabad, Baroda and Surat, the these four are the major, we can say, cities where this research has been carried out, survey has been done. The main objective of the study is to bring aware and to bring proper information what Medicated Lollipop is into the customer, and by providing the proper knowledge only, the professionals, or we can say the parents or health or doctors, they would be able to guide for the further usage of it. Here, exploratory, conclusive, and descriptive research has been carried out, where total 644 questionnaires has been filled out on the basis of the Likert scale, and also the analysis is done in reliability, Anova, chi-square, and regression mode. Coming to the data analysis part, I would like to say that as the Cron branch alphas value. Yes, sir.
We just wanted to interrupt here. Who are your respondents?
Yes, sir.
Who are your respondents?
Okay, so they are basically parents and health professionals.
Okay.
Which includes doctors in that also.
No. If I ask you parents, who are these parents? I mean,
yes, parents who have kids less than like 10 years, 8 to 10 years less than age, and who are planning to have a kid.
Oh, planning to have kids also. And what is the composition of parents and doctors? What is the ratio?
Yeah, it is 60-40 ratio.
So are you doing separate analysis for parents and doctors?
Yes, but here as the product is itself, because if we all know that parents only consult the doctors before providing any of the medications to the child. So here I have taken both. I have included both of them as well, doctors as well as the parents in one group.
So you will have some trouble in justifying.
Yes.
Because not every time we will go to a pediatrician and ask, right? Is it possible?
Yes, sir. So what the ratio has been 60-40. 60 is for parents because as their kids are like they have many such differences among the taste and smell. Also, some of the times during cold or like they won't be provide injections or syrup. Sometimes taste of syrup and smell of syrups are also irritating to the kids. So
Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, thank you, sir. So here we can say, I can say that as the Crohn's brand alpha's value is less than 0. Is more than 0.07. So here the data is reliable for the further studies. Here as the significance value is between 0, that is less than 0.05. So here there is no association between the gender of the customer and the convenient route which they would be providing antibiotics to the child easily. Also, the significant value between the occupation and the preference of the parents to provide the child the medications to the child is less than 0.05. So here we will accept the alternative hypothesis, and there is a significant difference of the same.
I don't think the occupation has got anything to do with this, because if I'm teacher, then I'm believing like this, and if I'm some other profession, then I'll believe like this. It is not like that. That relation, I think the hypothesis on which you have worked out, that occupation, gender ke saath you can relate that, definitely. But I don't think that with occupation you can relate that.
Okay, but ma'am, here in occupation, I have taken the parents, like the businessmen, then health professionals, which includes doctors also. So the
Doctors
ratio,
you have already, that is your one sample, na?
yes,
So
ma'am.
what are the other categories of occupation? So if I'm a businesswoman, then I'll treat my child like this. And if I'm a teacher, then I'll treat my child like this. It is not the profound premises on which your hypothesis is based.
Oh, okay, ma'am. I'll take into the account of it. Sure, ma'am.
Real, one more thing.
Yes, sir.
See, even like occupation and income level, right?
Huh.
So for a child, for any child, even the poorest person will go for one of
Yes,
the best
very correct.
treatment. So
Okay.
did you ask about income level, something like this?
Sir, I didn't get you.
Did you ask
Yes.
any question? That
No,
what is
no.
your
I think income level she is not yet talked.
Acha, she will
Nahi
talk.
aaya.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So coming towards the gender, the significance between gender and consumers' perception regarding the medicated lollipop by its characteristics, where it includes, as I said, taste, then smell, then the way of the consume, then we can say that it's not harmful also. Recommendation by the doctors. So here the significant value is almost 95% is 0.00, that is less than 0.05. So there is a difference between significant difference between the gender and the perception of the consumer. Coming towards the education and consumer perception regarding the medicated lollipop.
So with all demographic, you have run this test. Go ahead.
Okay.
Next.
Yes, ma'am.
Come to your overall findings and application. Yes.
Yes. Managerial implications. So as the research is carried out on totally the pediatric patients, it is very much useful to the society that as an entrepreneur can spread the accurate information and awareness of the medicated lollipop. Also, it is noted that it is beneficial to the researchers or academicians to bring their knowledge into the business world. But also,
Before this, do you have some major findings?
yes.
ये major finding है या सीधा? Can you go to
No,
your major
sir, I have included the findings and conclusions in the conclusion part only.
Okay.
I can say that, like while concluding, I can say that the factors, as I mentioned, the price, quality, consumer satisfaction, consumer preference, then their stability, acceptability, this all contributes for the development of the medicated lollipop, as it will be the good idea for the new product development.
ठीक है, चलो Go ahead.
Okay.
मार्केट में ऐसा मिलता है मेडिकेटेड लॉलीपॉप?
नहीं, medicated lollipop की there is no Indian market of it. I have purchased, but the kids in my family have already eaten. I won't be show you. I have purchased 2 or 3 medicated lollipops online. It is available online.
So rather than coming to INYS, you should go to that, what is that? Shark Tank India.
I'll definitely go if I would get chance to go there.
So rather than going for empirical research, now you do the exploratory research. कि chocolate बनाओ, brand करो, and then go there.
Yes, ma'am. Because I have studied about gummies, which is available here also, but the like we can't provide it to the 3-4 year child because वो उतना assume नहीं कर सकता जो medicated lollipop just by licking it or by chewing it in the mouth he can do that. Yeah.
ठीक है.
So further also by adding the factors like price effectiveness, then knowledge and try to it, we can do the comparative analysis across the states also. Here are all the references which I have taken for my study.
Real one model where which are those factors which affect the marketing of this price and place and all those things, and come up with a new model which are only specific to this product. Those factors which will include those factors which are specific to only this factors, this product. तो कुछ contribution बनेगा अभी.
Okay, sir.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but your 10 minutes are over, so kindly conclude.
Yeah. Thank you.
She has already done.
And एक मेरा observation ऐसा है that probably you are not very sure जो क्या आप कहना चाहते हैं ना वो presentation से तो ज़्यादा नहीं आया.
Basically,
we got your concept.
हाँ.
लेकिन पता नहीं something is missing ऐसा लग रहा है मुझे. ममता मैडम, she's on the phone. देखिए, you are talking about marketing. Priyal?
Yes, sir.
Are you talking about marketing of this product?
No, I was like it's a new
business
product
development, new product development, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
थोड़ा और मसाला इसमें डालिए आप, where what are the similar products available, something like this, or globally if they are available outside India, then what is their strategy?
Okay.
That and can those factors be implemented in India also? Those strategies can they be implemented in our country also? ऐसा कुछ आप थोड़ा कीजिए, and then you can suggest. आपको जो suggestion है ना, as manager can I implement it right now? ऐसा होना चाहिए.
Okay, sir. But I can show you this also where I have included everything just for your
right. Please show.
Here I have taken some examples also which I have said the kids travel and little remedies are two of the we can say, yes, the online selling brand we can say regarding this medicated lollipop.
Okay, you want to say this? Okay, no problem. Right.
Yeah, there are many more, but I have taken the two main. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So I would like to invite our first participant again, Mr. Shiva Kumar and Dr. Kamal, for presenting their on the presentation title, A Study of Bhagavad-Gita's Approach to Stress Management. Can we have the presentation, please?
Good afternoon to all of you. Sorry that I did not make my own presentation. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to make a presentation on this topic. A study on Bhagavad-Gita's approach to stress management. Next slide, please. Yes, when we
Shivakumar, you're not audible. It's very low. Voice is very low.
yes, sir, right, sir. So when we look into the approach to Bhagavad Gita, in the background of self-management, there have been two approaches. One is the psychology approach, another is the management science approach. Let us just briefly see what the psychology approach is all about. It is about developing psychotherapy models and subjecting it to clinical validity. It is a clinical prescriptive approach. That is, a typical approach would be taking Sri Krishna as a psychotherapist and Arjuna as a patient, and then having a session on psychotherapy. And we have a number of, and I have also given a number of studies on that. Next slide, please. The next approach is the management science approach, where researchers they reduce concept variables for better understanding of stress and its management. It is a conceptual, descriptive, as well as an empirical approach. That is, they approach Bhagavad-Gita in the background of stress management, and they discuss a number of concepts. They have certain concepts and they take certain concepts. For example, we have self-respect and ethical consciousness, positive emotion and integration of body and mind. And next slide, please. Detachment and faith, trust, respect, anger management, then stress, jealousy, fear, goal setting, firmness, and self-respect, karma yoga, work-life balance. So these are some of the important variables that come out in discussion with regard to approaching Bhagavad Gita in the background of stress management. Next slide, please. Now we come to the objective of the paper. It is to expose stress management from the spiritual perspective of the Bhagavad Gita. That is what Bhagavad Gita talks about stress management. This would enable us to understand Bhagavad Gita's perception of stress management. That is our objective of the paper. Next slide, please. Move on to the method of the paper. It is a conceptual theoretical paper that expounds the state of emotional stability which correlates to the concept of stress management. We are familiar with stress management and the compatible equality of stress management in Bhagavad Gita is the concept of emotional stability. This is the prajna. That is what we are going to expound. And Bhagavad Gita not only stops with expounding the state of emotional stability, but also identifies steps to achieve emotional stability. And these steps is correlated with the techniques of self-management. That is what we are going to attempt in this paper. Next slide, please. The state of emotional stability. Bhagavad Gita states that the person of emotional stability is one who has cast off all unwanted desires of the mind. And 255 refers to second chapter and verse 55. Bhagavad Gita consists of 700 verses distributed among 18 chapters. So, chapter 2, verse 55, I have given the verse there. Coming to emotional stability, person who is not shaken by adversity and duality, that is positives and negatives, who has complete control over attachment as well as detachment. So these are the characteristic features of an emotionally stable person. In short, we can say that the person of stable wisdom has complete control over emotions in all situations. This is the state of emotional stability. And this correlates with the popular concept of stress management. Next slide, please. Now, Bhagavad Gita explains how to reach this stage of emotional stability. It identifies fourfold steps very important steps. First is the control of senses, which we can call it as senses management. Second step is control of desires, desire management. Control of anger, anger management. And control of mind, mind management. And one point that needs to be noted here is that the word control refers to sublimation or channelizing a negative lower value system to a positive higher value system. Whenever Indian tradition uses the term word control, it is not a very rigid or very violent control. And next slide, please. Now we will briefly explain the four steps to achieve the state of emotional stability. The first step, senses management. Bhagavad-Gita states that the physical contact with the external world is through the senses. Hence, this needs to be managed. And how does senses be managed? Through senses purification. And what does this mean, senses purification? It is an inner journey, that is the intrapersonal journey, from a tamasic state of existence to a ragistic state, and from a ragistic state to the sattvic state of existence. Bhagavad-Gita says that senses, in Sanskrit is known as guna. Guna consists of three traits, namely tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. And here we are just explaining that. Okay. Previous slide, please. Senses management. And previous slide. Thank you. Now this senses purification takes place through these three stages, and this process of senses purification lies in performing action as karma yoga. This is the first stage. Next slide, please. Thank you. Desire management. Indian tradition talks about positive desires and negative desires, and it is the negative desires that are impediments towards emotional stability. And desires arise from the attachment to the senses. So Bhagavad-Gita has stated that whatever negative desire is there, it arises due to attachment of senses. So with the control of senses, desires are automatically controlled. Next slide, please.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but your 10 minutes are over, so I request you to kindly conclude.
Okay. So the fourth step, third step is anger management. Next slide, please. Fourth is mind management. Conclusion. Next slide, please. In conclusion, we see the importance of senses and desire management for stress management. Generally, when we talk of stress management, we don't talk about it. And it's interesting to compare the state of emotional stability of Bhagavad-Gita with the concept of emotional intelligence of management science. It will be a fertile field of next slide, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Sivakumar, topic is really good and interesting. My only query is that what is your contribution to this field?
I have deduced, sir. I have
You
deduced the 4 steps from the Bhagavad-Gita and I have given it, sir.
Right. So you have tried to connect management and Bhagavad-Gita, right?
Sir?
Okay.
Pardon, sir?
You have tried to connect Bhagavad-Gita and the management field.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Stress management.
Okay. Now, can you give me 2 suggestions as a manager or managerial implications where these studies, your paper can be used and people can reduce the stress? Any 2 practical suggestions?
Yes, sir. So first one would be anger management, sir.
Okay.
Once
Now, how
we
to do it?
anger, and how do we reduce anger? And through Bhagavad-Gita, we start with basically about karma yoga, performing action which is not based on the result, but more on the process. If we take care of the process, the results are going to emerge. If we have such an attitude, then many things will fall in place. For example, desire, anger, and all.
Mm-hmm. Fine, we are not able to hear you.
Am I answering your question, sir?
No, but your voice is very low, and it is not coming. What I am. That's fine. Mamta madam, you have any questions? Please ask.
No question, sir.
Okay. Priyanshi, let's go to the
Yes,
next.
sir. Thank you, Mr. Shiva Kumar and Dr. Kamal. Now our next presenter is Mr. Amit Shah and Dr. Hitesh Parmar for the presentation on the title Economic Demographic Antecedents and Consequences of Consumer and Empirical Study.
Priyanshi, in the chat box, I have written my phone number. Call me.
For sure, ma'am.
Hope my screen visible, ma'am.
Yes, visible.
Ma'am, the topic what she said is not my topic. Name is absolutely right, but topic is someone else.
So you tell your title.
Yeah, no issue. Thank you. So good afternoon, Neelam ma'am, Mamta ma'am, and
Amit,
Vilas sir.
Amit,
Yes, sir.
in any case, what is in the name, na? But something is in the topic. Okay, go ahead.
But if it is awarded as a best research paper, then the title and name matters.
Both should match. Right.
Good afternoon, Vilas sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Very good afternoon, all my dear colleagues as well. So my topic is a review of green supply chain management, an Indian organized retailing perspective. I'm presenting my paper with my co-author, Dr. Hitesh Parmar sir. So this is the flow of presentation, introduction about organized retail, theoretical background, review of literature, research methodology, and conclusion. If I start with the introduction, then sustainable development with ecological protection has gained global significance in the last 2 decades due to the various reasons like global warming, resource depletion, water pollution, carbon emission, soil erosion, and many more. One of the major pillars of the Indian economy, that is the retail sector, that include organized as well as unorganized both, that accounted for 10% of the country's GDP and 8% of the employment before the coronavirus outbreak. But during that also only the 1.5% is reduced, where online become the more percent than offline. So according to the existing literature related to green supply chain management, most of the scholarly that work have been limited to the manufacturing context. Well, retailing has received insufficient attention, and that's the reason I selected this topic for the further study. So if I say about the organized retail industries in India, then retail industry has emerged as one of the most dynamic and fast-paced industry due to the entry of many new players.
Amit, can you directly come to your contribution, like your research objectives and all?
So this is a theoretical background.
Theoretical framework we can talk.
That is talking about the supply chain management meaning that come across in the late 1980s and come into the widespread in 1990s. So these are the various definitions given by the various authors. From the literature review, these are the contemporary issue that I found that in supply chain management, like green supply chain management, logistic management, service supply chain management, global supply chain, reverse supply chain design and performance measurement. So I will talk over here more about the green supply chain management that specifically related to retail industries. So this is the definition given by the Srivastava in 2007 that green supply chain management as integrating environment. Yes, sir.
Amit, can you go back to the model?
No, these are the
only sir contemporary issue that I presented, not the model. Yes. So this is the things like green packaging to green distribution, reverse logistics, green purchasing, and green manufacturing. So if I talk about the review of literature then related to retail industries, the existing literature review related to green supply chain management very limited to the retailing constraints, where retail has been paid very enough attention. There is a spelling error over here. John et al. Opine that large retailer can play very, very instrumental role in environmental development in the supply chain. One of the author in 2010, he said that green practices facilitate retailer to attract more customer as well as exploring the new market. So that signify that green supply chain management into the retail sector is going to be potential area for the further research. So based on the literature review, these are the things that I found that where mostly the concept is used, like aluminum refinery, automobiles, automotive parts, can packaging industries, electric, manufacturing, mining, oil and gas industries. So for the research methodology, I collected the paper from the various sources, and from that I just try to find out the things that how it can be used in a retail industries. So this is just the conclusion from my side, that from the all the related paper that provide added value for retail and supply chain research by linking sustainability consideration in retail research, retail practice and other research area and industries along with the supply chain. So this is the just the overview that give the insight that how green supply chain management can help in retail industries. So these are the reference, not all reference that I put it, only few references that I put it. So that's all from my side. And based on that, Vilas sir, if you give permission for a 1 minute, I can just show you one model that I am just planning right on the literature review and writing on paper. So from that, I found all these are the construct and just try to find out that how it can impact on the organization impact specifically for the retail industries. Thank you.
Amit, if someone asks to differentiate between your normal supply chain and green supply chain,
Yes, sir.
so what is your answer?
Supply chain management is more focused on economic performance, where green supply chain management is try to reduce the impact that given on the environment side. So where we just try to focus on packaging side and some internal practice which can help to reduce the environmental impact.
Now, suppose there is a supply chain system which is green and which is efficient.
Yes, sir.
In any case, organizations will adopt it,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes,
If
sir.
it is not efficient enough, it is costly, expensive,
Yes.
then in no case they will adopt.
True. Very true.
So, what is your, for example, we are not here to save. As a businessman, I am here to earn money and not to save the environment.
Right, sir.
So, what is your suggestion to this?
But sir, from the literature review, it is found that now customer is also ready to pay a higher amount if the product is not harm to the environment. So somehow later on soon organization need to be focused on this environmental practice. That's what I understand from the literature review as well, sir.
So, you could have, taken data from some 20, 25 companies
Yes, sir.
who are into this green supply chain and
Right.
the type of products they are making.
True.
And probably their journey from less profit to more profit after the adoption of green supply chain.
Definitely, sir. I
That is
take
will
your
be
suggestion
very
in the part, sir.
right. Instead of telling only what is green supply chain management,
Agreed.
some database, maybe secondary data is also fine.
Okay.
Would also have been fine.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yes,
Thanks
ma'am.
for your valuable suggestion, sir.
Amit, is this your PhD title?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll just say one thing, that you have to work a lot on this.
Hmm.
You have just recently enrolled for this PhD program?
No,
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Then how many years?
2.5 years is completed, ma'am.
Oh my God, 2.5 years, but you have done the work of only 6 months. So you just convey my message to Dr. Hitesh Parma that madam was saying like this.
True, ma'am. True.
है ना?
Definitely.
So 2.5 साल हो गए, पर आपका काम देख के लग रहा है कि खाली 6 महीने में इतना होता है, because you have not yet read the what is called identification of research gap. Without identification of research gap, you have prepared the model also.
No, no, ma'am. That is again before that 3-4 paper are still there. This is just the final model that we are working on it.
Okay, so this you have not included in your research, but you have shown that, you want to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
एक ही चीज याद रखना अमित.
Yes,
in your
sir.
model, both arrows, all the arrows are one-sided, right?
So he will decide whether it is a reflective model or
That later on, ma'am. Then model on that we are
No,
working
not
on
later on.
PLS.
When you are reading literature, if you find a single relation which is both the sides, then you have to think on that.
Yes.
बाद में कहाँ ढूंढते बैठोगे ना?
Yes.
ऐसा है.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mumta ma'am and Vilas sir for your feedback.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit sir.
Thank
Now
you.
I would like to welcome Dr. Samir Mahajan for the presentation on the title and overview of private security industry in India.
Namaste to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you can see my screen also, no? It's visible, no?
Uh-huh.
Right? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, namaskar to all of you. Myself, Samir K. Mahajan. I'm from Nirma University. And the name of my topic is an overview of private security industry in India. I must say at the very outset that it's kind of a theoretical paper, and I have used some secondary data also. Just giving an outline of the private security industry, how it goes. Actually, it was that's I'm showing here. So here is the flow of the presentation here. So its introduction is there, and growing need of private security, structure and segment of private security in India, market size of private security industry, employment potential, regulatory framework, then extent of formalization in private security industry, conclusion there. So actually, this industry has got a visible leap in the aftermath of economic reforms in India, especially after 1990s. And economic reforms had the effect on this, especially urbanizations and growing housing communities, development of industries, infrastructure, trade and commerce has led to the growth of this industry enormously there. And this is the second largest industry. It is almost by this time almost employs 90 lakhs workforce there in the country, and the second largest after agriculture only. And this industry has exclusive distinction of being the top corporate tax contributor there, and it has a GST also of 18% there. So there is a need for my main basically intention to show here what actually I want to show a scenario of the private security industries here, and we want to throw some lights on of the industry with respect to parameters such as workforce, structure of the markets, employment potential, regulatory framework, and extent of formalization. And it's a very important topics here, formalization in the private sector industries here. Existing literature shows that this industry suffers from enormous informality. Actually, it's very much unorganized sector in the country there. But though it's one of the sunshine industry in the country, but this is the lacuna in this industry. It's a great concern that this industry still is an informal one. Growing need of that, so we need there is actually difference between private security industry and police force there. And their police force has grown in this throughout the world, including India, actually, for maintenance of law and order. And police force who actually has been managed by common exchequer and taxpayers' money. But private sector industry is basically customer oriented there. Okay, those who get the benefit, they have to pay. Sellable there. Whereas for police services, actually everybody gets it without making any payment and all. Everybody get the benefits of police services there. Now, how actually has grown? Motive based on private sector industry is definitely profit, and beneficiary and customer, they have to pay for the services they get. This is there. We see nowadays actually what is happening that you can see that police there's low police to citizen ratios. You can see here gradually is falling also, and there are other factors also actually which has led to the growth of private security industries. We can see it here that for India, we can see almost at present time 144 police forces there per 1 lakh populations, and which actually much low below the less below the other developed countries of the world. And United Nations actually has a recommendation. They said that number of police force per lakh of population must be 220, and India has got only 144. Naturally, there is some gap there. Okay, we need as far as security concern is there. We don't have enough.
Gap. Some gap, huge gap.
Huge gap is there. So what is happening is that government this gap is being fulfilled by private security forces. That is what I'm trying to say here. You can see here. This is the scenario for India also. This much there almost actually it is in 2017. Number has increased, of course. 70 lakhs workforce there compared to police force over 14 lakhs there. Okay, so this is the ratio you can see here. So what we find is that private security personnel the total security forces in the country, private security personnel contributes 83 personnel. And police force comes of a number of 17 officers comes there. This is a phenomenon there. Now, this is actually the why we need private security force. This is there. Apart from this, many results are there actually. Many results are there that there is definitely growth in industry. There, banks has grown, trade has grown, ATM has grown. There's been growth of ATMs. There are increasing urbanizations, and there is a growth of bargaining middle class. They want security. There is growth of the flat cultures also, and people want to protect the properties, they want to protect their families, and all these actually things has led to the growth of private sector industry in the country. How it grows here, this industry can be divided into groups here: security service segments, allied service here. Now we have got manned guarding, especially what we say private security guards. Okay, this is there. At premises they are recruited, and this is the largest actually component of private security industry. Apart from this, we have got security system management, cash services in ATMs and all for transport of cash. They provide service to the we can say corporation on for transport of cash and other valuables there. Electronics security system, basically we talk of CCTVs and all these things there. And event management services nowadays for events also we take the help of the private security guards. There are security guards for training service. Now we have an act actually giving guidelines for private security industries, and as per this act, private security guards must be trained. So naturally, to give training to the private security guard, there have been growth of institutions for training institutions also, and other services. This is basically for detective services and all. It has come to India also. Okay, bodyguard services. Okay, that is there. You can see here as far as market size is there, it is growing. Very much growing. Now the market size was in 2017 it was 57,000 crores. In 2020 it was expected to be 19,000 crores, and in 2020 it is expected to 1,50,000 crores. It's a very big one. This market is growing, enormous growth in this market. Then what you can see here, workforce you can see it is growing actually over time. It is growing. It started with in 2012 it was 70 lakhs. There are 7 million there. And 2017 it was 8.9 lakhs there, and by 2020 it is 12 million there. So crossing over crores. But among all these things, actually, man guarding. What do we say? Private security guard. This is the largest sector. This is the prominent sector.
Mr. Samir, sorry to interrupt here. What is the source of this data?
These are actually I have collected from different sources. This is National Skill Development Corporation. I have got some data from FICCI also. FICCI also publications on this. I collected from there mostly.
Because here it is written refer to chart number 5. So you are.
This is written. A source is written here, please. FICCI.
Okay.
It's all mentioned here. Sources FICCI and all.
So what is Mr. Samir? What I am able to see here is you have consolidated some data about private security industry, right? So anything else you want to talk about this?
Actually, this is basically I'm giving overview. Actually, how the industry is in India. That is I'm trying to say here.
Okay. For example, see, if I look at this industry as far as my limited knowledge goes, it is not a very high-paid industry.
Yes. I have done some work on this. I have a project on this also. I had some research on this also. Basically, I was trying to see in the city of Ahmedabad what is the socioeconomic status of the private security guards. Actually, I wanted to see whether they have access.
Sorry, can you tell me what is the growth rate of this industry?
Growth rate was shown here around. Actually, it was around 20 compound accumulated growth there, 20% there.
20%.
Compound annual accumulated growth. This was there. This was the figure.
Okay, what are the challenges this industry faces?
One of the challenges I feel that is informality. Actually, this industry, the workers, their conditions are very, very important here. They are not being well paid here. Work condition is there. Suppose we have actually regulatory framework there. We have an act there to protect the guards, protect the interest of the worker, but that is not being followed. Suppose working hours is normal standard working hours 8 hours, but they have to work 12 hours. I have found it there, especially in the city of Ahmedabad. Then they are not.
Does it come under Contract Labor Act?
Yes. Many actually, I have seen many acts are actually incorporated here. Okay, almost 8 acts have been incorporated in Private Security Acts. In 2005 it came. Many acts are being there. Minimum Wage Act also came into this there. Many such acts actually related to work and wage related issues of private security guards. Okay. So I'll just show a brief here. So basically, you see, man guarding actually the biggest one, and this is the most unorganized one. Man guarding. There are actually a lot of issues are there as far as their working conditions. There as far as leave is concerned. They do not get leave also. Then there are issues related to their working hours and even payment also. And PPF, other social security benefits like PPFs are there, gratuities are there. Many cases these are not actually implemented by the private security agencies. They are deprived of that. But we found that this industry has enormous potentiality, especially in providing employment, especially to rural poor and all. And we see that
No, Samirji, because Contract Labor Act is applicable here, they will not be given all those benefits which a permanent employee will have.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm basically trying to see that whether they're being paid the minimum wages or not. I have seen it there. Then I was trying to whether they have leaves or not, whether they're having access to provident fund or not, okay, or you can say health insurance or not, ESI or not. All these things are there. These are not actually highlighted here. Just I'm giving an overview here. So most actually the workforce come from the state of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Assam. Also, in my findings, also I see that these states actually are predominant as far as supply workforce in private sector is concerned.
Sir, sorry to interrupt, but your 10 minutes are over, so I request you to conclude.
I'll just go there. So basically, I was trying to show that how it goes there. You see, this is very much unorganized there. This industry, okay. Farms are 60% of the farm are in unorganized sectors there. Share of workforce, you see 90% of the workforce are unorganized sectors. And we can see here the revenue shares also 75% come from man guarding there, and 25% other part of the private sector industry there. But man guarding the largest component here, but it is extremely actually predominantly unorganized, informal sectors we can talk of there. And conclusion, I say basically I am trying to say that informal sector is not expected to protect the interest of the workforce. If we need to have industry, if it is, we are saying this is sunshine industry. Now we need to have it to be a formal industry. If this to be a formal industry, it must follow the rules and regulations that is being implemented by Private Security Act. Those must there. And is this industry to go to get the status of a vibrant and modern and worthy professional industry? All these factors, they have to be well paid and their work condition has to improve and all. Because private security industry actually is a very well established industry in the West, especially in Europe and America and there. But in India, still it is growing, in the phase of growing there. This much I wanted to say. Thank you very much. If any question, please.
Yeah. Samirji, go to slide number 13.
Yeah, please.
You said that 60% of the security service providers still operate in as unorganized players. See, as per the Contract Labor Act, if I have more than 10 workers, I have to register as a contractor. So then I become an organized player. So any example can you give me about this?
Organized player?
Yeah, unorganized player.
Unorganized means if they are following the regulations of private security acts or not, whether they are operating in that part, on that basis. Suppose certain things, they have to, that is how the industry goes. Here the regulatory agencies is private security, and not I'm saying agency, they are basically the guidelines that come from that particular act only, private security act. Whether they are following it or not, that they are. We can actually have certain measure of organized sectors or not. Basically, as far as workers are concerned, I will say whether they're being paid PF or not. In a organized sector, PF is being paid. Provident funds are given to the workers, or gratuity is being given to the workers, okay? Or whether they're paid the minimum wage that is being prescribed by the government or not. Those things all count.
That may not be a very good idea, Samirji. But for example, if you go to Kerala, then even a farm labor would get a PF, provident fund. So farming is not organized sector.
Actually, I just want to know actually how it goes there. Please, could you please
please have a deep study on this, because people like me will ask you some questions.
Definitely, I will want to know from you also, sir.
Right. Now you will have to see some supporting literature or really what's happening in the industry. Please read more. That's what my request is.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Anything more, please? This is the references here. I have used this. Actually, these literatures are this data comes from FICCI. FICCI is saying that actually. Whether this is organized or unorganized. FICCI is saying so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next presenter.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sure.
Now I welcome Mr. Keval Dave for the presentation on the title Improving Index Trading Performance with the Protective Put in Pandemic Times, Evidence from Nifty 50 Index.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, so am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I'll just share my screen.
Kaival, you are student of BK?
I hope my
Is Kaival the student of BK?
screen.
I think he lost connection.
Yes, ma'am.
Student है अपना?
Uh,
I just want to know whether my screen is
Visible.
sir, it's visible, but your voice is cracking.
I also submitted my PPT earlier as well. If you can like fetch out.
I think he has joined from phone, I think.
Sir, if you want, we can present for you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Am I audible? And my screen
Yes,
is
you
visible.
are.
Okay, fine. So yeah, so my instrument and I've collected data for the pandemic times. Okay, so this is the flow of the presentation. First, I would like to talk about the derivatives. Derivatives, by and large, we call it as instrument which value is derived from underlying asset. And when we talk about derivatives, that why should the derivative exist? If we existence of the derivatives is to hedge against an unlimited losses or some adverse.
Kaival Dave, come to your major research. Theory we know. Come to your
Well,
research
especially
objectives.
relates to the index trading. Okay, okay. Okay. Uh, so the research objectives was whether I want to analyze whether the hedging with the option, that is the put option, some sort of volatility at the time of the pandemic times in the month of March. Okay, so this is the review of literature which I've studied, where Bookstable and Clark said that they have covered three basically strategies, which is protective put, that means underlying asset buying, and you also simultaneously buy the put. They've also said implement and they have also gone through
I think there is lot of disturbance. आपका voice crack हो रहा है.
is more effective than the protective put. Yeah, so the Bookstable and Clark has concluded that the cover call put strategy, and the other research paper which was I studied option premium is actually becoming costlier because of the huge premium that paper itself says that it is an elusive benefit. That means the benefit is not real if you measure it in a real time. Okay, and the very recent study which happened by Applied Band, and they've studied the US market data, and they have also concluded similarly that the covered call is actually better compared to the protective put. While the only Indian study available, which was with Agrawal and Gupta, and they've said that the protective put works better in the Indian market. Now, I've collected the data for the calendar year 2020. Calendar, that means it starts with January, ends with December. And I've collected data for I've analyzed the data for the index future and put month of the respective month. The January month put option and like that. selection of the strike price of the ITM, that is in the money put, was 2% above the future rate of the Nifty. And it was the team assumption is that you are actually buying both the position when the monthly expiry starts, and you are closing the position at the end of the expiry. Okay. And I've collected this data from the NSE website itself. Now, this is the month-wise performance of Nifty future in the year 2020. So if I look at the January month's expiry, January month's expiry starts with the 31st December, and that got expired on the last Thursday of the month. That was on 30th January. Okay. And so this was the second column is of expiry of that particular month, and I've taken the last 3 months now, which shows the data that if you have like blanketly purchased a Nifty future, then what would look at the second table? This is the put buy data. Again, the date is similar, the expiry is similar, and I would consider the strike price, which is of third column, which is actually 2% at the time of taking the position. And the profit loss is also again measured on the basis of assumption that the position taken on the uh, starting of the month is actually squared off automatically in the on the day of expiry. Okay, so this is the profit and loss. Again, if you bought the naked put, then now I want to show this graph where it says that if you have taken positions simultaneously along with Nifty future as well as the protective put, then there are instances of 5 months in which you might have made loss. But if you look at the March month data, where actually market crashed severely, and in that month, if you like gone by the Nifty future data, you might have lost almost 3,000 points. The 3,000 point loss is actually getting covered by the protective put which you have bought at the starting of the month. So, statistically speaking, the protective put is working even if you consider uh, the premium cost that you are paying as well. I've also made a separate table after considering as well as the option data. On the March month, where you are only getting loss of 80 points, roughly 80 points, okay, because the whatever future price which you have lost is actually coming from the put price or compensated by the put option premium, right? Uh, I can, from the data which I've collected, I can easily interpret that there are, like I said earlier as well, that there are only 5 instances where you're making a loss, and the loss is also not huge. Even if you consider the movement along with the underlying asset, which is Nifty, the loss is not that much amount, that much huge. Okay, and I've shown you earlier as well that in the March month, the Nifty is down 977 points. Your put gives you a profit of. I conclude that the protective put actually works better when there is a directional move in the underlying asset. My limitation of the study is that because I've chosen the pandemic year as the area of research, the data is I've collected is only for the calendar year. And this is basically what a purely index strategy, I should say, because when you consider the deep in the money put, this strategy cannot apply on contains a different, the security contains a different amount of margin as well as liquidity. So there are some times in which on the date of expiry, the spread or the jobbing is there, or there might be an illiquidity in the option premium of the securities as well. Okay. And one thing which is ignored in the study is the margin requirement, which is needed to buy the future. That has been ignored altogether in the study, and obviously the transaction cost, the amount of brokerage or STT and other tax that you are paying at the time of taking the position, this has been ignored. Yes, that's it, sir. Thank you. Any questions?
There was a lot of technical glitch in between the presentation, but I just want to ask Keval, you are a student of MBA?
No, ma'am, I'm faculty.
Faculty, where?
PP Savani University.
Okay, so you also teach the predictive analysis?
That is that in Surat.
I know that. Even I know your vice chancellor
Yes,
also.
yes, ma'am.
So you
Okay, ma'am.
अच्छा, आप वो predictive analysis, you teach also?
No, I basically teach RM, that is risk management.
Okay, so
Actually, I've joined here.
I'll suggest if you're faculty, then you can, this is the field where finance faculty can develop their expertise, that is a predictive analytics.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, I'll sure consider that. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, next presenter.
Thank you, Mr. Kaival Dave.
Okay.
Now I welcome Dr. Ruchita Patel for the presentation on the title Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic on Restaurant Service in Anand City.
चार बजने वाले, हाई टी का टाइम आ रहा है और ये रेस्टोरेंट का प्रेजेंटेशन बता रहा है, बताओ देखते हैं उसका प्रोडक्ट.
What a coincidence.
Dr. Ruchita Patel.
Yeah, Ruchita, please go ahead. I think she is here.
I think no. Next presenter then.
Yes, sir. Now I welcome Mr. Jagdish for the presentation on the title The COVID-19 Pandemic and Stock Market Performance Evidence from India.
No, madam, this is I remove this name and Ajay will be the present in the group number 10.
You removed, that means you are a co-author and that's why you have removed?
No, I'm not a co-author. Actually, two-time registrations. Ajay is the main authors and two-time registration. Jagdish and Ajay will be the same presentations.
Same presentation.
Yeah. So Ajay will be the main authors. So he will be the present in group number 10.
Okay. So Jagdish Changan, if I'm not wrong, he is faculty at analytics at Dhar University.
Yes.
So who is presenting right now? Next. Present कौन कर रहा है अभी? Priyanshi?
Yes, ma'am. Ruchita Patel present or not?
No, I think she is not there.
Okay, then ma'am, our next group is, now I welcome Mr. Shiva Kumar and Dr. Kamal for the presentation on the title A Study on Enriching Spirituality at Workplace Through the Karma Yoga of Bhagavad-Gita.
I think he is the same person who has presented stress.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. It's the same group again.
Are they going to make presentation?
Yes, ma'am. They have registered 2 times with different titles.
I think they are not there in the meeting. Call the next participant.
Our next participant is Ms. Vidita Sinha and Dr. Hitesh Parmar for the presentation on the title The Role of External Eating, Emotional Eating, Food Addiction, Hygiene, and Ambience on Purchase Decision for Last Food in Youngsters in Gujarat. Yes, ma'am, she is there.
A very good afternoon to respected judges and fellow colleagues. I'm Vidita Sinha, and along with my guide, Dr. Hitesh Parmar sir, I'm going to present on the topic, the role of external eating, emotional eating, food addiction, hygiene, sensory aspects, and ambience on purchase decision for fast food in youngsters in Gujarat. So before I proceed with the presentation, let me talk about the imperative, what made me choose this topic. According to comprehensive
Is this your PhD title?
No, ma'am.
Extra.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ma'am, actually, my PhD topic is on healthy foods.
Healthy food. So this is the
So it's
sub-product, byproduct of
yeah,
that.
yeah. So I thought of doing research on this because it was a pandemic situation. So I just wanted to know whether the pandemic situation has really changed something or it is the same. So this study, before I did this study, the imperative was that Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey 2018 says that India is on the verge of a food famine, and it is going to be a epidemic of obesity, diabetes, and non-communicable diseases like diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. So that made me think about this, that if we are really eyeing for sustainable growth, then in that case nutrition is very important, and therefore this study is done in order to understand what are the factors which can be influencing the fast food consumption. So the variables I've taken from various scales which can be seen on the screen. Emotional eating, like for example, when somebody is excited or somebody is frustrated, in both the situations people usually indulge into the binge behavior, the indulgence, or the hedonistic behavior. Similarly, when somebody is frustrated, in order to curb their anxiety and frustration also, many a times people go for eating. So that is known as a emotional eating. External eating is when you see somebody eating and you also feel the urge of eating, or you are accompanying a person who is a foodie. So that also makes you hog on some unhealthy food, the sugary food, and you are less prone to go for protein food. And so basically my hypothesis number 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been on the basis of these two variables. The third variable I've taken is food addiction. Like any other addiction, food is also addiction, though it does not have a very systematic definition in the literature. But literature talks about some of the symptoms, like for example, the lack of control is there. There is a continuous craving. Then you consume more than whatever you had planned for. There is a strong desire to consume, and you cannot control even when you know that it is bad for your health. So basically, there are many studies which have shown that because of food addiction also, chronic overeating and binge behavior can occur. The next variable which I've taken is hygiene. Hygiene, we all know that it is a very important variable as far as restaurants are concerned. So people make assumptions of the hygienic conditions based on the visible clues, like how clean the restaurant looks, how is the glassware, plates, etc. Then ambience is again very important, which you can see the color, the music, everything results into the approach or the avoidance behavior. And lastly, we all know that sensory aspects, because food addiction is mainly due to the sensory aspects. That is, it is a sensory clue that is memory of the food. Remember taste and we are going to for the food. Basically, these are the variables taken. This is my research model. On basis of that, I've taken 10 hypotheses which I am testing. The methodology which I have adopted are I circulated the questionnaires to 156 people, and out of which I could get the appropriate responses of only 441. That is a response rate of 79.3%. I had used judgmental sampling, wherein I had taken the survey on only the youngsters who were of age group 18 to 25. Before I proceed with the analysis part, I'll talk about the evaluation of measurement model. We had done a EFA test, exploratory factor analysis, and the KMO value was as high as 0.9, which was much higher than 0.5. The Barclay's test of sphericity was significant, so we could go for factor analysis. The variance explained was around 82.41%, and the communality was all above 0.5. A one factor solution was obtained with all the 8 variables. The reliability which I got was pretty good for all the variables ranging from 0.8 to 0.88, which is far more better than 0.7, which is acceptable. And AVE value which I got was in the range 0.63 to 0.68, which was again better than whatever is allowable. So the details of this I can show you, which I have included in the tabular form in the paper, but I have not included this in the PPT.
Vidita, you say that whatever is allowable, you just say that rule, hai na? Because for everywhere there is the limit. So whatever is applicable, when you make your presentation for PhD, don't do that. Because for everything there is a limit, hai na?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much. So I got very good values. 0.7 was already there in Cronbach alpha, and AVE values were above 0.5. The hypothesis which I had tested showed that there was an impact of external eating, emotional eating, food addiction, hygiene, sensory aspects, and ambience. All were found significant, because if you see the values over here, they are all less than 0.05. So those
what are the statement you have included under the construct called external eating?
For external eating?
Yes, that is a construct, na?
Yeah, yeah.
So what are the statement, items you have included statement in the external eating?
Ma'am, I'll just show you. Yeah, ma'am. I'll just give me a minute. Ma'am, these were the statements. I eat more than usual when I see others eating. When I see or smell some fast food, then I desire to eat that food. If I feel food tastes good, then I eat more than usual. So these have been taken from this scale.
It is a scale that you have used, is it?
Yes, ma'am. I have mentioned
is this
the
scale
scale
available in the literature also?
Yes, ma'am. This was a very old scale which has been proven many a times. But everything together has not been done. So what I have done is I have taken variables from different scales, which I have mentioned over here, and then I have made the model. And because it was a new combination of variables, so therefore I have tested the model with the help of EFA, reliability, and AVE.
Otherwise, when you talked about the construct called external eating, I thought it is eating outside. But then I have seen the statements. So then my perception of the construct and your actual construct is different.
Yeah, ma'am. It is about when you see somebody eating, you feel the urge of eating.
Okay. That's why I asked, na, that tell me the items or the statement under this construct.
Yes, ma'am. So all the 6 variables were found to be significant. And you see beta values, which is very high for hygiene. So there is a preference for hygiene, and sensory aspects and external eating is very important. This result has been proven in the next hypothesis also, which I'll be showing you. The next hypothesis was whether there is an impact of external eating, emotional eating, and food addiction on purchase directly, without creating an attitude, whether they can have an influence on purchase decision. Again, they were found significant. And if you see, external eating was found to be very much important variable. So external eating, I'll be talking about this when I talk about the managerial implications. Again, there was a significant relationship between the consumer attitude and purchase decision. When I talk about the demographic factors, all were significant. Of course, some variables were significant at 0.01 significance, and others were for 0.05.
So gender is at 1% or 5%?
Pardon?
Gender variable, it is at 1% significant or at 5%? Can you tell that?
It is 0.06. So it is at less than 0.1, 90% confidence level, madam. Yes. So the findings which I have found is that all the variables which I had taken were influencing. And very important thing is that people have started using fast food as a comfort food. That was the finding which I got, that they take it as a comfort food. Whenever they are feeling anxiety, they are under stress, they go and they have the fast food. So that was a finding. The emotional eating is a very prominent thing which I found through the study. Moreover, when we see today's youth is very emotionally vulnerable because of the social media advent, and they become very happy and very sad also very easily. So basically, that was reflected with the finding that 93.8% of the respondents, they said that when they were stressed or they were restless, they used to go for a fast food. And similarly, 94.3% of the respondents, they said that when they wanted to celebrate, they used to go to the restaurants. So, and other results were that when they see others eating, then also they are motivated to eat. And the frequency of going out was very high. They lack the control. Even if they know that fast food is not good for them, they cannot control themselves. So these were the major findings which I got.
Sorry
of course,
to interrupt,
hygiene.
but your 10 minutes are over, so I request you to conclude.
Just a minute. I just want to talk about the last slide.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so the policy decision which can be made is external eating was found to be very important variable in the study. So when people see in advertisements that junk food is so enticing, it is so pretty, then in that case, they are motivated to go for it. So advertisements, there should be a control on the advertisements, and government should take adequate measures so as to reduce the usage of junk food. Like, for example, the tax can be increased. That can be one of the options. The second thing is that they should motivate the manufacturers, the fast food outlet people to shift to the healthier options. Even if people are addicted to fast food, they can be done in the form of healthier options. So this is what are my suggestions. Thank you so much.
Text वाला suggestion I didn't like. How that is text न डाल के नहीं हो सकता. That comes from within.
Ma'am, that is you are absolutely correct. Yeah, ma'am. But that is what was related to the findings.
Right. Vidita, where do you work?
I work for Ganpat University, sir.
Okay.
Good presentation, Vidita.
Yeah, it's a good presentation.
Thank you so much.
My concerns here are not critics in the sense. You are looking like, emotional eating. You are looking emotional eating into isolate in an isolation. Suppose I am not emotionally stressed. I am in a very good, right? Then also I am doing the emotional eating. Are you getting it? What you are looking at only when I am stressed, उसको हम emotional eating बोल रहा हूँ.
No, sir.
No, sir. अभी खुश होता है तो भी खाते हैं, ऐसा बताया
बताया? Okay, then it is fine. मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है इन्होंने एक emotional eating के कुछ एक ऐसा 5-6 signs है emotional eating के, and then he goes for it. ठीक है, मतलब so at this point I will not further, but otherwise presentation is good.
Very good.
Thank you so much, sir and madam.
Okay, please.
Thank you, Ms. Vidita. Now I welcome Mr. Suraj, Dr. Morvi, and Mr. Viresh for the presentation on the title, A Comparative Study of Banking and Non-Banking Sector in Relation to Factors Contributing Towards Higher Participation of Women Executives at Senior Management Level.
Ma'am, there is a different title. This is not my title.
So आपका title क्या है then?
Yes, sir. Can you please go ahead with your title?
Yeah. My title is to measuring the impact of green marketing on consumer buying behavior and brand image and empirical evidence with reference to the FMCG industry in Gujarat state.
So the same title it is written here. Suraj Shah, Morvi Vasavde and Priyal Shah. Is it?
No, ma'am. Suraj, Morvi, and Viresh. Priyal was their teammate, but then she got removed.
Okay, so green marketing that is written under the Priyal's name. इनका क्या है सर? इनका ग्रुप नंबर क्या है?
ग्रुप नंबर 10.
ग्रुप नंबर 10 में सूरज शाह, मौरवी वसावड़ा एंड मिस प्रियल शाह लिखा है.
Yes, ma'am. It was changed at the end moment.
So you send me the final wala Excel file, okay?
Sure, ma'am.
So then I'll make the evaluation.
So can I present, ma'am?
Viresh.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Is this a special tag for Ganpat University or what? सब गणपत वाले हैं. Or madam has done a special campaigning at the Ganpati University.
Yeah. So my screen is visible, ma'am?
It is about to present. It is coming. Yes.
Yeah. So my topic is measuring an impact of green marketing on consumer buying behavior and brand image and empirical evidence with reference to the FMCG industry in Gujarat. So this presentation is presented by me, Viresh Bodhanwala, along with Dr. Surasa and Dr. Mauri Vasavada. Now moving towards the introduction.
आप student हो वहाँ पे?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm the student.
Student of MBA.
MBA in Business Analytics. Yes, ma'am. MBA in
Business Analytics. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Third semester?
Yes, ma'am. Third semester.
Okay.
Now moving towards the introduction part. So what is in green marketing? So it is contributed from the environmental friendly and sustainable market. From these two terminology, the green marketing.
Viresh, can we start with the objectives because we know green marketing, hai na?
Yeah, ma'am, definitely.
Come with your research objectives and all.
Yeah, ma'am. So
okay, by the time you are coming, who is teaching R and Python in your university?
R and Python teach by Dr. Hemraj Verma.
Hemraj Verma.
Yeah.
He is a permanent faculty?
No, it is a visiting faculty.
Hemraj. Can you give his number chat box में लिख सकते हो?
Definitely, ma'am.
Hemraj Pandya बताया ना आपने?
Hemraj Verma.
So once you over your presentation, please write his number in the chat box.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. Definitely. Yeah. So.
But you start from research gap. Fine.
Yeah. So now my research gap is to measure. Many researchers have been done in the India as well as in abroad, but there is a research gap to measure the impact of green marketing on the consumer buying behavior and the brand image. Right. So now moving forward, need of the study. Why the need of this study? So understand the new insight of the emerging era of the green marketing, to understand the challenge that exists in applying a green practices, understand the customer need and expectation with reference to the green marketing, lack of the research in the field. Now talk about the research methodology. So objective of this study. So my objective of this study is to these studies try to find out the impact of demographic variable on the purchase of green product. And my main objective is to study to identify the impact of green marketing on consumer buying behavior. Now moving forward to the research methodology part. So for the research methodology, exploratory and conclusive research design is adopted. Target population who know about the green product or green marketing. Sampling technique is adopted. The simple random sampling technique is adopted, and this studies extend to the Gujarat state, and the total sample size is 462. With reference to the major city of Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Baroda, and Rajkot and Surat. Data analysis part. Now I will talk about the data analysis part. First of all, for the further analysis, we can before the further analysis we can go for the reliability test. So the reliability, the contact alpha is 0.967, which is more than the threshold value, greater than the 0.70. So we can say that data is reliable for the further analysis. Now moving forward for the analysis and hypothesis testing, the fulfillment of my research objective, I can build this hypothesis. My first hypothesis: there is no significant difference between the age group and the overall satisfaction of the green product purchased with reference to the FMCG industry. So here I can identify that 0.119. My p value is 0.119, which is more than 0.005. So we accept the null hypothesis and we reject the alternative hypothesis. So we can say that there is no significant difference between the age group and overall satisfaction of a green product purchased with reference to FMCG industry. Now moving towards my second hypothesis, there is no significant difference between the income and factor affecting the purchase decision with reference to FMCG industry. So here the p value is 0.08, 0.00. So we can say that in the data analysis a significant value with the confidence interval with respect to 95% interval. We can say that all the value is more than 0. Which is not more than 0.05. All the value is less than 0.05. Hence, we are reject the null hypothesis. Now, moving forward to the analysis of hypothesis testing, my third hypothesis, there is no significant impact of green product on overall satisfaction of green marketing and a brand image with reference to FMCG industry. So here also the p-value is less than 0.05. So according to the coefficient of having a 0.00 with a significant level, it's reject a null hypothesis and now conclude that a significant impact of green product on overall satisfaction of green marketing and a brand image with reference to the FMCG industry. My fourth hypothesis, there is a no significant impact of buying behavior on the overall satisfaction of green marketing and the brand image with reference to FMCG industry. So here, from this test, we can say that the p-value is 0.00. So here also we can reject the null hypothesis, and we can say that the significant impact of buying behavior on overall satisfaction of the green marketing and the brand image with reference to the FMCG industry. This is the summary of the hypothesis testing, where first hypothesis is accepted and all other are rejected. Now moving forward for the finding and discussion part. So finding is that Cronbach alpha is 0.967, so we can accept, we can go for the further analysis. Age group and overall satisfaction, there is a no significant difference between the age group and overall satisfaction. So so any age group, we can take any, we can say that any age group of people will there is a no significant effect on the satisfaction level. Now moving towards the Anova test, we can I applied in the particular study. So my Anova test is say that the Anova test is used to examine the significant difference between the factor affecting the purchase decision and monthly household income group. So we can conclude that there is a significant difference. Means that your monthly income is different, then your purchase decision is different, and also I can conclude that overall satisfaction of overall satisfaction of purchasing a green product is also depend on your a green product is depend on your overall satisfaction. Means your product is more reliable or more organic like that. So people will adopt that particular things. Now the managerial implication. So I will talk about the managerial implication. According to the demographic and responding developing a strategy based on a demographic outcome will have a good perceptual influence on consumer in terms of a green product quality and outcome. Demographic statistic give a vital information study could help to marketers for existence of product development and marketing aspects. Even the researcher will also be useful for a green product development, and adoption of environment change is a response to a specific demand and necessity of the solid emphasis. Now talk about the conclusion. So from this study, I can conclude that the consumer buying behavior indicate the mechanism of the behavior that play a role of the purchasing of the product. There is a little knowledge about the green product of the market side. The goal was therefore to understand the attitude and consumer perception, consumer green product, and the conjugate comprehensive data of a demographic feature, and to detect the factor that influence the behavior of the consumer concerning the green product. This ultimate goal of the study is established to attitude regarding the green product. Now the further scope of the study.
You can skip that, no problem. You can skip that.
Yeah.
Achha, you have validated through MOs also that you want to say, or you are saying that people should do?
Actually, we can go for the EFA and CFA. After EFA and CFA, we can apply the path analysis, so we can identify the more inside of this study.
But that you have not studied. That is for future scope, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Fine. Okay.
Now
Good
moving forward for the bibliography part. This is my reference.
Oh, not needed. Next presentation.
Yes.
Viresh, very good presentation. Just only I want to say you are a student of business analytics. So layman ko lagta hai accept and do not reject, it is one and the same thing. But business analytics student ke liye definitely there is a difference. So do not use the word accepted. Yeah, in some of the columns you have used.
Definitely, ma'am.
Rather than writing the number of Hemraj Verma, you write your number in chat box.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. Definitely. I write my number in a chat box. And ma'am, one thing is that in research, I want to add one thing here.
Add kar do, bolo.
Yes, ma'am. here all the research, all the literature are latest by the life like a 5 year. All the literature review are latest
Not
by the
because
5
your
year.
concept is the latest one, contemporary, and that's why it
Yeah.
is like this, है ना?
Yeah,
Fine.
ma'am.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm waiting for your number. I will call you in the evening.
yeah, definitely, ma'am. Definitely.
Next presenter. Very good presentation.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Vinesh sir. Now I welcome Mr. Ajay Pathani for the presentation on the title, The Role of External Eating, Emotional Eating, Food Addiction, Hygiene, and...
वो तो वो मैडम का था ना, अभी हो गया ना उसका?
नहीं मैम, अजय सर.
It was my topic. I've
हाँ,
already given.
Vidita's topic. I think तुमने Excel में ना एक रो में गड़बड़ किया है डालने में, because Vidita is already presented.
No ma'am, Ajay sir's topic is the
external eating that Vidita has presented, and I have given a good comment to her. So मुझे पता ही है उसका topic है ये.
Yes ma'am. Ajay sir's topic is the COVID-19 pandemic and stock market performance evidence from India.
Fine. हाँ, that can be. हो सकता है.
Yes
Yeah.
ma'am, that was a mistake.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to everyone. My name is Ajay, and I am a fintech student from Gujarat University Department of Animation. So let me start with my presentation.
So fintech, it is a diploma, na?
MSc IT.
MSc IT.
Yeah.
So it is a 2-year MSc program.
Yeah, ma'am.
2 years. That is after that your master program, you want to say?
Yeah, this is a master program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is the screen visible? Okay.
Yes.
So good evening to everybody. Today's topic is COVID-19 pandemic and the stock market performance evidence from India. And so briefing about the COVID-19 pandemic situation. As we know that
about this COVID-19, come to your research, hai na? Time is a constraint.
Okay, yeah, sure, ma'am. During the COVID-19 pandemic situation, stock market was hit very badly, due to the negative impact on the economy and certain kind of course which is created. And now we are talking about my study is totally constrained of the total 12 sectors, which majorly is a collective of all the Indian economical factors. So I had in the constraint I would choose some indices from the Nifty. And now talking about the literature which I had referred for this study, as COVID-19 pandemic was not the first outbreak. So there was certain outbreak like SARS in China, which was in 2002. So referring the data of SARS and the report of 2009 also, and the Leo report of 2020 for the coronavirus outbreak in the stock market in different countries. So now and certain literature which also describe the relationship between the disease outbreak and the stock market response by many authors, that's at Zhang Li al 2020, ISN mechanism 2018, and Brazil Stock Exchange also on different viruses to relate the impact of COVID-19 in compared to the different viruses. So the research methodology which I am talking about, I had adopted the Brown and Warner event-based study methodology to estimate the abnormal return of post-occurrence of an event. Okay, so as per the Brownman and Warren model, so I had totally reviewed this model into the 5 different categories. That is an event of interest, event window, estimation window, and estimation model. Okay, so the talking about the event of interest means the date of occurrence as per the WHO guideline, and so the event window and pre-event window. So the time frame is totally divided into 3 phases. First of all is estimation window, the 160 days previous of coronavirus outbreak and the performance of the Indian stock market. Then the pre-event window means during the coronavirus, means when WHO has declared the COVID-19 pandemic. So that time phrase and the event window means the event window consists of lockdown 1, 2, and 3 phase also. Okay, so these are some dates as per the WHO guidelines which I had shorted. in my study matter on the day basis. So now estimation model. So what I had means what kind of study which I had performed is I had calculated the mean of a return of different indices, then calculated the adjusted model, and cumulative abnormal returns also I had calculated for post-event window, and abnormal return, average abnormal return for the post-event window on the event day also. So while examining this certain data of standard deviation and the volatility of AR and the day of occurrence of event, on the basis of t-statistics also, certain kind of outcomes which I would like to present is that the data which I had sampled, the data is totally of the mentioned sector like banking sector, FMCG, and the majority of our sector of NSE indexes, which are private sector banks also and real estate industry. The data was collected between the time frame of July 2018-19 to May 17, which is probably the end of fourth lockdown. Okay, so and the methodology used is MS Excel, not any and the data is analyzed by using just MS Excel. And now talking about the data analysis part. So as for the different kind of
This
phases, the
reviews
phase
is
one.
not in your syllabus. Reviews
No, ma'am.
that is not a part of your curriculum review.
Yeah, ma'am. We are the first year students.
Acha, you are first year student.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, so now talking about the data analysis part and empirical results. So we had calculated the daily average return and the standard deviation of indices on the 3 short period, which is lockdown 1, lockdown 2, and lockdown 3. So and categorize the result into the 6 panels. So for the first panel consisted of 130 trading days, which was the pre-occurrence of an COVID-19, means before the COVID-19 period, 130 days, and it definitely shows that the market were almost positive for the investors. And okay, and during the panel B, which is the so during that there was a COVID, the
I think that is
chaos
the internet
calculated in the
connection.
market.
Hmm.
And panel C, D, and E is the post-pandemic situation analysis. So during the panel C, the majority of the indexes and the markets were in the negative phase, but the auto industry was still positive because of safety purposes. The auto sales was at a average good rate. His was daily return was around 3.46%, and then after in the second phase, which was around second lockdown type, so at that all the sectors were majority negative, but Nifty Pharma and FMCG sectors were not doing were doing really great work, which has an lowest negative impact due to this outbreak. And when considering the third phase, so by considering the third phase, the mostly of the indexes has accepted coronavirus because as the outbreak has been almost increasing, and all the sector respected and the lockdown for betterment of the economy. So that time all the indices has uh, re, re, reflected positively up to a certain extent, but then but then at the end of the third phase, almost the all sector started uh, reflecting negatively on a higher basis due to increasing in NPAs and debt of banks. So during the last means the during the fourth phase, majority of the sectors has uh, declared their negative results, and which was a great fall for the Indian economy. And now talking about the day, calculate here some of the abnormal returns which are calculated on the daily basis are represented here. So it is said that after the pandemic situation, every market is expected to give an abnormal return. Okay, so abnormal, which is beyond an expectation. So market was almost negatively around 7,500 points, but still after the post-pandemic recovery stage, market has a
All
good
time high.
impact.
Market is all time high.
Yeah, market is all time high. That is an abnormal return which was unexpected, which was very high from the mean. Mean was around 14,000, but still it went to around 19,000 touch. So it was an abnormal return, which our study shows that after a pandemic situation, market gives an abnormal return than expected. So there are some of our first studies by cumulative and average return. So now while concluding on our study basis, so whenever the pandemic has
इंडिविजुअल पेपर आपने आपका अकेले का है ना, वो चांगी सर इसमें नहीं है ना, वी सब जगह लिखा है, तो इट इज अ ग्रुप प्रोजेक्ट.
just yeah, they had guided me for this project.
But this is the single present, you are the single author.
Double. So by concluding the results of the research, means by concluding the results, so we came to know that whenever a pandemic has hit the economy of any country, but especially talking about Indian economy, every sector has respond very similar way, means respond very negatively to means any kind of occurrence. The market has a great and a very sensitive responsibility, means sensitive responsible for the outcome. So now there are some findings which I want to highlight that during the first.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but your 10 minutes are over, so I request you to kindly conclude.
Yeah, I'm concluding it. So concluding the different phases of the market. So during the first phase, market, during the estimation window, market, all the investors were have favorable. Means
Conclude in a line, one line. Last conclusion. What will be that?
So yeah, last conclusion will be that every sector has badly affected due to the COVID-19.
So you suggest what should the investor do right now? What is the situation? Abhi wo batao.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Investors should adopt a long-term investment strategy whenever the market is weakened.
So अभी ऐसा बोल सकते हैं ना, market is all time high, अभी investment कर लो सब लोग ऐसा. That is a one line conclusion, can we say?
No, ma'am. That cannot be said. Yeah, because market is above the means condition and around the first standard deviation. Okay, ma'am. So we can. So market is relatively to be stable right now. So we can wait markets to get stable for a heavy investment.
Okay. So your background is you are commerce student?
Yeah, I'm a business administrative student.
BBA के बाद आपने MSc क्यों select किया? ऐसे मुझे पूछना है. Out of a curiosity.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am, because of fintech, because it is a trend right now going on, and I had read many articles related to the fintech innovations going on.
So all the paper taught in the program, it is related to management only?
What, ma'am? Pardon?
आपके जो फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर सेकंड सेमेस्टर में जो भी पेपर पढ़ा है वो सब मैनेजमेंट रिलेटेड ही है?
No, ma'am, that is a combination of technology also and finance basics. Okay. And advanced level finance, yeah.
Because first semester, second semester हो गया, because this is third semester, and still आप लोगों का views नहीं आया, तो मैंने सोचा कि let me.
No, ma'am, this is our first semester. Our course was duly started around November.
तो आपका पहला बैच है, आपके सीनियर्स नहीं है?
No, ma'am, our first batch.
तो आप फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर में हो अभी?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, fine, चलो. Good presentation overall. Next presenter.
Thank you, Ajay Pathani sir. Now I welcome Mr. Karan Bhatt, Miss Himanshi.
सर सब लोग हमारे मैनेजमेंट में आ रहे हैं. पहले ऐसा था कि प्योर साइंस वाले नहीं आ रहे थे, अभी इवन प्योर साइंस आप देखो, न्यूट्रिशन, फूड वाले, फॉरेंसिक, सब लोग मैनेजमेंट में आ रहे हैं.
Now I welcome Mr. Karan Bhatt, Ms. Himanshi Prajapati and Ms. Nihal Shah for the presentation on the title New Education Policy 2020.
Last presentation है?
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, तो इन लोगों की खिंचाई कर लेते बराबर, है ना?
Yeah, thank you, Priyanka, and good evening to distinguished judges and my co-colleagues. Now I'm presenting the screen.
आपका वीडियो ऑन करो.
Yes, ma'am.
नहीं कर रही हूँ कुछ भी, आराम से प्रेजेंटेशन दो.
Okay, ma'am. So is it visible?
It is coming. आ रहा है.
Okay. So my topic is National Education Policy 2020, a path towards the creation of integrated human being. So I Karan Bhatt, and my co-authors are Snehal Ben Shah and Ms. Himanshi Prajapati. And this is the flow of the presentation: introduction, NEP at glance, multidisciplinary approach of NEP, objectives, concerns, and suggestions.
So is it a conceptual paper?
Yes, ma'am. Conceptual paper.
No empirical analysis, yes?
So, yes, ma'am. So India, as you all know, India is not just a country of 64 Shakti pits, but it also has a very rich heritage of 64 streams of education.
Oh, wonderful.
But somehow in the time period, we have lost our that glimpse. We have lost our that greatness of our education system. So which makes our current education system not at the level, at the par with our globally accepted standards. So to make it globally competitive, our government has constituted a committee under the chairmanship of K. Kasturi Ranjan to frame a draft of national education policy. And recently, in the year 2020, the government, on the basis of recommendation of that committee, has presented new national education policy 2020. Now, this policy suggested some of the basic and very vital structural changes in our education system, current education system, suggesting corrective measures in the field of school education, higher education, research ecosystem, and faculty development programs. Basically, these are the glimpse of this that particular national education policy. But major and most stunning, you can say, the step which government has adopted is multidisciplinary approach. It suggested the integration of humanities and arts with the STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Now, there are many changes in the new education policy, but there are two basic changes, and we can say most important changes in the school education, and second is higher education. Currently we are following 10+2 kind of school system, in which we have age group of 6 to 16. We are going for 10-year education system, and then we have 11, 12 +2. So it makes it 10+2. But this new education policy suggested to go for 5+3+3+4 formula. Now, 5 years consists of 3 years of Anganwadi and you can say Balvatikas, which make the students from 3 years to ages of 3 to 6 years, which provide initial education. Then moves to +3, that is class 3 to 5. Then it also goes for +3, then that class 6 to 8. And at the last, we have +4, that is class 9 to 12.
So I assume that this policy is a
our
national
new education policy suggested.
Yes, Karan, just a minute. So
Yes.
what this policy is applicable to entire nation, irrespective of the any board like Gujarat board, central board, international board, is it?
Yes, ma'am. But I am coming to that point at the time of
नहीं,
concern.
उसके पहले मुझे क्वेश्चन है, जैसे
Yes,
तुम
sir, I
अभी
am
बता
not
रहे हो ना,
sure.
that questions that you told me that the Bal Vatika and Anganwadi and all, and somewhere in the national education policy
Yes.
also I have read that your initial schooling, I think till grade 3 or 4, it should be in the regional language or mother tongue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So then this rule is to be applicable to all the boards and all the schools. Because बहुत सारे लोग मुझे एक क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं और मुझे नहीं
government. Yes, ma'am. But basically, ये क्वेश्चन जब पार्लियामेंट के सामने भी पूछा गया था, then at the time our Ministry of HRD has suggested that these are the suggestions.
Not
You
the
can
compulsion.
implement this if you want in your
Okay.
state. Yes, ma'am. Not compulsion. These are the ideal suggestions made by the government. Even our South Indian state has also opposed this. Because they want their initial education to be in their own language. But here also there is one kind of suggestion that Hindi could be the probable, you can say, the language of education in our basic initial period. So that's why clashes was also there.
Even your South people, they told that
you
you want
strict implementation. So this can be.
South side, I think they had made the what is that argument that they want their initial schooling in their own regional language. But here in Gujarat, the trend is reversed. That's why I'm asking. So they are with the national education policy, but Gujaratis, they are against the national education policy. They don't want their kids to study in Gujarati. They want from the very beginning from the English. So that's why बहुत सारे बच्चे ऐसे मेरे आजू बाजू वाले उनके parents पूछ रहे हैं. So I am not able to answer. Is this a compulsion or the recommendation? Being
ma'am,
a
this
good
is the
job.
recommendation, not the compulsion.
Confirm?
Yes, ma'am, confirm.
Confirm. Chalo then. Go ahead.
Okay. Then the best one comes for a higher education system. Now the NEP has stated that multidisciplinary approach. It means it has suggested, it has recommended to integrate our traditional streams of education like commerce plus science, technology with our basic humanities and arts like music, dance, languages, etc. So if the student who goes for the higher education can now select their traditional trends like they select the science, and they can also go for you can say the humanities like music. So they can select now music plus the science. So this kind of system government is recommended, and by this they are generalizing the education system and generalizing, and you can say the creative integrated human being, which is not just an expertise of science, but also is an expertise of that particular music, which he has selected as his or her minor subject. Now, these are various other claims like NEP has suggested a 4-year integrated B.Ed programs, which is currently is of 2 years. So it says that if anybody goes for a teaching in the school programmation, then they have to go for this 4 year of integrated B.Ed programs. It also national education policy also prepares and also started that some of the development of training programs like continuous professional development, that is CPD, and it also approach towards the setting up of national professional standards for our futuristic teachers. Now NEP has also suggested a national committee for integration of vocational education to focus and solve the obstacles in the field of vocational education. Ma'am, just you are whatever you are asking, this is one of the solution which government has found, that they will create a committee for this vocational education. Now, multidisciplinary approach. National education policy explains this multidisciplinary approach under the head of towards more holistic and multidisciplinary approach.
I think this you have already explained.
Of
Go ahead.
education. Now 11.3 number of para strives towards the aim of policy, which calls for the development of all capabilities of human being, including intellectual, moral, scientific. Yes, ma'am. So basically, this is the multidisciplinary approach which NEP has suggested to us. Now, this is some of the graphical representation of multidisciplinary approach. Now, I move on to my research objective. The research objective is to highlight the provision of newly accepted national education policy. Also, connect the dots of this education policy
No,
with
ma'am,
the
his
fourth
voice was
sustainable
cracking.
development goal
No,
of
cracking
providing quality education to the
Yes.
citizens. The next objective is to analyze the steps suggested by the NEP for the integration of various courses, and also to examine their probable outcomes for creation of holistic education system, and by that creation of integrated human being. Also to scrutinize whether these measures be enough to satisfy the futuristic approach needed in the creation. So, ma'am, should I continue because I am joined through the mobile, that's why.
And there is lot of voice break also.
And the last objective of mine is to suggest some imperative steps to make system more effective. Now, literature review. As you all know that this policy is just presented by the government, so we are not available with the major portion of our literatures. So for that purpose, for my research purpose and analysis purpose, I have studied. So, ma'am, should I join again?
Your voice is cracking, and it's okay. You had made the presentation.
So yes, so as more of literature is not available with us, so I basically include the draft of new education policy 2020 in my research purpose. Okay, ma'am.
Fine.
Yeah.
How many credits? Can you throw some light on
Should
credit
I continue
structure?
or should I stop now?
No, Karan, can you listen to me? Karan, am I audible? Hello. Ek minute. Karan,
ma'am.
can you listen to me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
How many credit structure?
Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Credit structure क्या बता रहा है NEP?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me the credit structure of graduation and MBA? कितना credit पढ़ाना चाहिए first year में? You're a faculty, that's why I'm asking.
No, ma'am. I haven't. Yes, ma'am.
You're not audible.
But I haven't studied that credit structure as because my focal area is not credit structure.
Okay, because when you're presenting the NEP and you are faculty, so I was
Yes, ma'am.
expecting
Now I'm
that.
audible?
Now it is audible.
Yes, ma'am.
So you can come up with a new research that what is the credit structure offering under NEP? Could be a new research.
Okay.
है ना? Next time के लिए ऐसा कर सकते हैं आप. चलो, is there any presentation? Next
Yes,
presentation. Okay.
Thank
Sure,
you, Mr.
sure.
Karan Bhatt. Now I welcome Mr. Hitesh Sharma and Dr. Ankita Rana for the presentation on the title, A Study on Perception of Railway Passengers of Vadodara Stations Towards the Different Services. Sorry, ma'am, but I think they are not present. So with this, we end our paper presentations. Now I request jury members to share their opinion and feedback, which will help us determine what features to add and how we can make it better. Over to you, sir and ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. I think majority presentations were very good, and the researchers tried their best to do whatever best they can. Although many of them were based on secondary data, but still they could make some contribution. So our questions may be direct and look like as if we are criticizing, but the motto was not to criticize, just to give a punch so that they can look into their papers again, and they should think on what relevance or what contribution they can make to the body of the knowledge. So we have already given the marks, and all the best to all of the presenters.
Yes, in line with Vilas sir, I agree that our objective is not to criticize the presenter. We just want them to improve on the research methodology and research aspects. I'm going to enter the marks soon after the presentation gets over. But before that, sir, how many presentation? First is Suraj Shah, Morvi and Priyal. Others, can you leave? मैं विलास सर और प्रियांशी रहते हैं. Others participant, you can leave, please.
Ma'am, just a second. Before they leave, now let's capture this memorable moment with a screenshot. So I would like to request the jury members, participants, and our audience to turn on their camera so we can capture this moment.
Sure.
अब मेरा कैमरा स्टार्ट नहीं हो रहा है, अभी से चल रहा था. आया है, ओके.
Yes.
प्रियांशी, नीलम मैडम को तो बुलाओ यार एटलीस्ट.
Yeah.
No, ma'am, I was about to call her, but I think she's in another track.
प्रियांशी, you are junior student कि senior हो तुम?
नहीं मैम, junior.
Junior.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all.
Right.
So shall I ask others to leave? Only me, you and Vilas sir.
Yes, ma'am. And
No
thank
need
you
to
for being a
propose a
part
lot
of.
of things. हम समझ गए. Thanks आपने दे दिए.
Yes, ma'am.
All students and other presenter, kindly leave the meeting so that we can discuss.
Priyanshi, tell who are the